Hi, my name is Amy Poehler, and I feel nostalgic about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
And that is appropriate because
I feel so nostalgic today.
I feel so lucky because a lot of our fans know this, but for the uninitiated, when I was doing my late night show in 93, a couple of years into it, we started saying, oh, we need cast members to help us out on the fly. And UCB was just getting off the ground.
Yeah.
And so suddenly, it wasn't just that I was getting really good people. I was getting the best sketch performers coming in, and you would play, I mean, you could play anything, but you would play Andy's little sister and would give you, I think, a script that was like, that's a solid B. And you would take it to an A+++++++. And it was insanity, and I never took that for granted. I mean, now I look back on it, and I think, I got to have Amy Poehler do bits on my show.
Yeah. You paid my rent.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding? I would have done it. I mean, it's funny that you say it that way because isn't it funny when you look back at, I mean, what must be 30 years now?
30 some odd years.
Yeah, because I moved to New York when I was in 96. Is I never remember a time when you were like a fledgling new show. I mean, you were just always like the hit show.
That's so funny.
I know. I don't remember it being like, we have to practice and get things ready because I knew Andy Richter from Chicago. But in my mind, I don't have a memory of it ever not being a successful show.
Well, it's interesting because young people just sort of made it their show. And we were doing all this weird stuff. And they were saying, yeah, this is what we like. We like the Masturbating Bear. We like Pimp Bot. We like Andy's Little Sister. We like all this weird stuff. And, but I was constantly taking shit from people that were used to Letterman who were maybe 20 years older than me. And so there was a solid 3 years of you might get canceled.
Yeah.
Can you try, can you get rid of that weird stuff you're doing? And I'd tell them I will, and then I just wouldn't. And it was just madness.
And honestly, let's play F, Marry, Kill with Masturbating Bear, Pimp Bot, and Andy's Little Sister.
Yeah.
See how we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd fuck them all.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And that diaper comes off pretty easy. He's ready to go.
I don't think Masturbating Bear's interested. He's got something going on.
That's not how he gets off.
Yeah. We also have a few things in common, which is you're from Burlington, Mass. And I'm from Brookline, Mass. And
fancy. Congratulations.
That's right. My butlers had a butler.
Did your house have books in it? Well,
yes, we had some books. And my butterfly collection. I think you told me once, I could be wrong, that you worked at the Chestnut Hill Mall.
Yeah, I worked at a bunch of different places in high school. I always had a summer job. But I worked at the Chestnut Hill Mall at a restaurant called Paparazzi.
Yeah.
Which was, a very it was probably one of the fancier restaurants I had worked at up until that point, with breadsticks.
Yes.
Ooh.
And, I learned words like cavatappi.
I still don't know what that means. Yeah.
That's a type of pasta. Or, I learned mise en place.
Didn't you work at the Pewter or something?
There used to be a pewter pot in my town. But I worked at Chadwick's, which was an ice cream place on the border of Lexington and Waltham. And very famously, an ice cream, old-fashioned ice cream place. You bang a drum when it's someone's birthday, and you wear old-timey outfits.
Yes.
And Rachel Dratch worked at Chadwick's a few years ahead of me. We never met because then the simulation wouldn't
That's
have
crazy.
Worked out.
And what's interesting is that your Boston accent went away. I used to think I never had a Boston accent, and then someone recently found a clip of me interviewing my brothers and sisters from 1971, and I'm going yes, and I'm like, who's that guy? And I never consciously tried to get rid of it, but you tried.
I did, and I still think you do have one.
And I
still think I have one. I mean, it's super slight, but don't you feel like you can pinpoint people from Boston?
Yes, definitely.
Even just saying Boston, the way we say Boston, but every once in a while I hear it, and every once in a while I hear it for me, it's usually when I'm angry. That's when it comes out.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I also love that when I go to Boston, I don't know if this happens to you.
It's the worst accent ever.
Bostonians, it is. Well,
it's terrible.
I'm going to say Rhode Island. Cranston, Rhode Island.
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Cranston, Rhode Island might win.
Can you do the difference? What's the difference between those two?
I can't. I'm terrible at it. This made Rachel Dratch crazy because she did this. she wrote a sketch for Saturday Night Live, which was all these Boston people, and I was hosting that week, and I was just having trouble getting the Boston accent because I had been away for years, and Rachel was losing her mind.
That does not sound like Rachel Dratch.
No, she was getting really frustrated, like, no, it's like on the corner, and I'd be like, yeah, on the corner. And she was really, I was making her as upset.
I blame Brookline for this because, I mean, there's a way to dig into the accent that once you get in there, it's almost like you could never get out.
Right.
It's like a comfy chair to get in there.
It's not just the accent. There's an attitude too. I don't know if you have this, but if I'm in Boston and I go there a lot to see my family, there's a Conan, come here.
Yes.
There's a you kind of work for me. I know you're from Boston, so get over here. So I'm walking the other way. Hey, Conan, come here. Fuck, it's Conan, come here, climb over this thing. And you're like, this is incredible. Yeah. There's a sense that I'm from Boston, you're from Boston, you're not some fucking big deal, get over here. And I kind of like it. And then there are times where I'm like, oh, come on.
100%. The best and worst thing about Boston is there's a feeling of like, you're not better than me.
Right.
We're all the same. We're all in this together. Boston strong. Hi, how are you? Good for you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're doing well, Amy, huh? Like, it's aggressive love.
Yeah.
And it's very nice to feel. And also it's sometimes scary.
Well, I think I've mentioned this before, but I was in Boston and I was staying in a hotel and I was staying, like at a bar. And I go into the men's room, and this woman, who I want to say was 55, followed me into the men's room while I'm at the urinal. And she was like, hey, go on. And I was like, yeah, I'm at the urinal. And she's like, oh, Mr. Hollywood. I'm like, no, I think this is illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to be in here.
No, yeah, it's very I mean, all my relatives still live in Boston. I love going back there. It is this thing where Boston really doesn't want you to forget.
No.
And also Boston is the thing where they talk about neighboring towns as if anyone would know what they're talking about. Like, Boston feels like the center of their own world.
Right.
So they'll throw out towns and stuff happening to people that are from Michigan. And it's like, no one knows what you're talking about. Yes. But Boston is, they are their own center.
Also, I remember growing up and first of all, you'd listen to school cancellations and you'd wait for your town to come up. But the second thing is there were all these ads for like the Light and Leisure building.
Yeah.
I think it was in Burlington. And they were like, it's in Burlington, the Lights and Leisure business. The Light and Leisure, I don't know exactly what they were selling. I think it was lights and leisure clothing, which doesn't make any sense. But it was like Light and Leisure, Burlington, get off the whatever. And I just, I'm like, so that's drilled into my head.
There's something about the vibe there that this is something I really like about it. And New York is very similar too, which is there's a directness to how people talk to each other and what they expect of each other. So they're kind of like kind but not nice.
Yes.
And California is nice but not always kind. So it's confusing here because people are friendly but they're not really nice. But they're like, I gotta go. I can't help you. You gotta keep walking. Like everyone's telling you to hurry up, but they're very kind. They'll help you.
Right.
It's weird. It's different here.
There's a kindness in there, but it's got this crusty shell. Whereas here, everything has this kind of smooth shell,
And then you say, "Oh, my, can you help me change my tire?" And they're like, "We can't." I'm so sorry,
but I want that for you.
I want that for you. If you died, it would mean nothing to me.